Welcome to another SpotOn chat. I'm Rebecca Monet with Zorakle Profiles. Zorakle provides profiling tools to franchisors and to franchise consultants that help facilitate a right fit between a prospective franchisee and a franchise system. So today my guest is Laura Spaulding. Laura is the founder and president of the fastest growing franchise specializing in crime scene cleanup, Spaulding Decon. So welcome to the show, Laura. I'm so glad you could make it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm actually very excited about this interview. We've known each other for a number of years, but I've never had a chance just to sit down and really get to know who you are. So I'm really looking forward to it. So the first question I have with you is around perceptions, right? And when you're speaking with a franchisee, what perceptions does a franchisee have when they start engaging with a franchisor?
You know, it's overwhelmingly, I think franchisees think that franchisors have all the answers, that they come from, extreme wealth, and they're sitting on this, high throne and really removed from the system. And, that might be the case for extremely large systems that have been around for many, many years. But, I think I heard today 80% of franchisors have less than 100 units. So for the most part, I am extremely active in my business, both on an operations side to the point where I do all the training still for our new franchisees. And, I don't come from extreme wealth. I came from a broken home. I had to go on food stamps to put myself through college to get my bachelor's degree. I started out in a blue collar job. I was in the military right out of, high school there. So, everything that I have and I've built has been through sweat equity. There's been no loans. There's been no private equity, no angel investors. I've never even had a private loan from friends or family. So, when it comes to understanding where franchisees are coming from, believe me, I hear you. I understand, and I know that you're investing your nest egg on my concept or another concept. And I take that very, very seriously because, at one point I only made $38,000 a year as a police officer. So I get it. I get having roommates as an adult, and it sucks. So, you want to make sure that, or at least I do, I want to make sure that franchisees know that, I'm not somebody living in a $20 million house that's just, selling franchise locations, because that's not the way it is at all.
Yeah, so no fairy godmother for you to help you along the way.
Yeah.
You're a real person who put in blood, sweat, and tears to get where you are. You know what it's like to be at that level where your hands have to get dirty, literally, figuratively, and literally. And so you understand what it's like to have the struggles of building a business. And the truth is, I think that is a misperception that many franchisees have, that all franchisors must be these mega companies with endless resources that are kind of out of touch with what it's like to be out there in the field doing what they're doing. But you are not that person.
Not at all.
So I love that. So question, you mentioned the military, you mentioned your work as a police officer. My understanding is that was as a narcotics detective.
Correct.
So this background in the military and this background as a law enforcement officer, how did that play into ultimately Spaulding Decon and the crime scene cleanup?
I think it was, I like being part of a team. I like structure, but I didn't like being, I guess, micromanaged, and you really are. So, it's crazy that I chose those two avenues to start my career, because it's really the antithesis of entrepreneurship. So I always felt like I was being smothered or strangled a little bit, because I couldn't divert, and I couldn't think for myself. You had to follow, whatever you were told, and there was no There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think the experience of being in the military and being in law enforcement really pushed me to entrepreneurship, because I was, you know, a square peg that was trying to go into a circle, and it wasn't happening. And I was constantly trying to reinvent things to make them better and more functional. And they weren't having it. They weren't having it at all. So I decided to, you know, just kind of take the chance on myself, because no one else was going to do it for me.
I love it though, but you mentioned you do like structure. You just don't want to be micromanaged. So systems you respect and you appreciate and you understand the benefits in terms of being able to leverage those systems and replicate. But you don't want to be someone breathing down your neck and telling you every little thing and taking away your free will, basically, or your ability to think out of the box or make decisions on your own. So being sort of stuck in this box actually fostered or brought forward this part of you that says, you know what, I think I'm kind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, and franchising is a perfect example of that, right? Where we appreciate structure and systems, but at the same time, we're business owners and we're entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. See, I didn't know all those things about you. What I thought was also interesting as I was doing a little research on you was that you worked in Kansas City.
Correct.
And I spent several years in Southwest Missouri, so I'm very familiar with Kansas City. I don't call it Missouri. I call it misery.
Yeah, misery. That's what I call it. That's crazy. That's why I left. Yeah, no doubt. That's what I call it too.
Yeah, different world all together.
It really is. It really is. You know, they're very nice people, but that lifestyle is just not for me.
No, but you know, I have 2 children there, and they are a perfect match.
Yeah.
For that culture and for that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But for me, California was better, and for you, Florida was better, and it's, you know, it always comes back to fit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Laura, I really appreciate your time and sharing with us your heart, and I'd like to have you back for another conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.